Have you ever wondered if the line between a miracle and a natural phenomenon is thinner than we think? For centuries, the story of Jesus walking on the water of the Sea of Galilee has been a cornerstone of faith, a moment that seems to defy every law of physics we know. It is often presented as a test of belief. Either you accept it as a supernatural act, or you dismiss it as a myth. But what if there's a third option? What if science, instead of disproving this event, could actually help us understand it? Welcome to Studious Pug. Today, we're not here to debunk faith or to preach a sermon. We are here to ask a question. Could the laws of nature themselves hold the key to one of the most famous miracles ever recorded? Let's explore the science that might just explain how a man could walk on water. The story, found in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and John, is dramatic. The disciples are in a boat caught in a storm on the Sea of Galilee. In the pre-dawn hours, they see a figure walking toward them on the waves. They're terrified, thinking it's a ghost, but it's Jesus, who calms their fears and even invites Peter to step out onto the water with him. For a modern mind, the immediate objection is simple: gravity and density. Humans are far too dense to float on water, let alone walk on it. We sink. So, from a purely scientific standpoint, this seems impossible. But science is not just about what we know now, it's about the curiosity to explore what might be possible under specific and sometimes very rare conditions. Let's start with the location itself. The Sea of Galilee. It's not a sea at all, but a large freshwater lake in modern-day Israel. It sits in a valley, surrounded by hills, which creates a unique microclimate. This geography can lead to sudden, violent storms, just as the Bible describes. Cold air from the surrounding highlands can rapidly descend and clash with the warmer, moist air over the lake, whipping up powerful winds and waves in minutes. So the setting of the story is historically and meteorologically plausible. But what about the walking on water part? One of the most intriguing scientific theories revolves around a unique phenomenon involving ice. Not a thick, solid sheet of ice like you'd find on a frozen pond, but something more subtle. Researchers, particularly a team from Florida State University, have studied the specific conditions of the Sea of Galilee region. They proposed a scenario involving something called springs ice. Here's how it could work. The Sea of Galilee is fed by salty underwater springs. Normally, freshwater freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 Fahrenheit. But salt water has a lower freezing point. This creates a situation where a layer of fresh water on the surface, fed by rain or the Jordan River, could get cold enough to freeze, while the saltier water beneath remains liquid. Now, imagine a period of unusually cold weather, what scientists call a sharp cold snap. Historical climate data suggests such events were possible in that region 2,000 years ago. If the air temperature dropped suddenly, a thin, perhaps partially submerged sheet of ice could form over patches of the lake, especially in the calmer, more brackish areas near the shore. This wouldn't be clear, solid ice. It would be more like porous, slushy ice, a semi-frozen surface that might not be immediately visible from a distance, especially in the dark, stormy conditions described in the biblical account. To the disciples in a rocking boat, buffeted by wind and waves, a figure walking on this surface would look like they were walking directly on the turbulent water. This theory also addresses a key detail in the story. Peter begins to walk, but then sinks when he becomes afraid. Why? If he was walking on a solid sheet of ice, why would he suddenly sink? The researchers suggest this springs ice would have been fragile. The weight of a person could be supported, but any sudden movements, like flailing in panic, would concentrate pressure and could easily break through the thin, brittle surface. A calm, steady pace would distribute weight more evenly, allowing someone to traverse it. Peter's fear led to panic. His panic led to unsteady movement, and that led to him breaking through the ice. It's a compelling explanation that aligns with both the biblical narrative and known physical principles. It doesn't require us to suspend our understanding of physics, but rather to expand our understanding of the unique environmental conditions that can occur in nature. Other, less cited theories have been proposed as well. Some point to extreme surface tension, possibly aided by unique algal blooms that could create a film on the water. While fascinating, the amount of surface tension required to support a human is astronomical, making this far less likely than the ice theory. Others have suggested it was simply a sandbar close to the surface, but this doesn't quite fit the description of being in the middle of a stormy sea. So, does explaining this event with science diminish its meaning? For many, the answer is no. It does the opposite. The famous author C.S. Lewis once wrote that he didn't believe miracles were a violation of nature, but rather a mastering of it. He suggested that a miracle might not be nature breaking its own rules, but God, the author of nature, using those rules in a way we haven't yet discovered. Think of it this way. If a remote tribe saw a 747 airplane land for the first time, they might describe it as a giant silver bird descending from the heavens. A miracle. To them, it defies everything they know about birds and gravity. But we know it's not magic. It's aerodynamics, thrust, and engineering. Our understanding of the science behind flight doesn't make the airplane less amazing. In fact, it makes it more so because we can appreciate the incredible intelligence and design that went into it. Similarly, if the Walking on Waters event was facilitated by a rare confluence of meteorological and geological conditions, does that make it less of a miracle? Or does it point to a moment of incredible divine timing? A moment where natural laws, which many people of faith believe were set in motion by a creator, converged to create something extraordinary, right when it was needed. Perhaps the miracle wasn't the suspension of physics, but the perfect orchestration of it. The right temperature at the right time in the right place to deliver a message of hope to a terrified group of followers. From this perspective, science and faith are not adversaries. Instead, science becomes a tool that allows us to peek behind the curtain, to see the intricate machinery of the universe and perhaps the hand of the machinist. The story of Jesus walking on water has endured for 2 millennia, not just because it is a tale of the impossible, but because of its deeper message. In the midst of life's storms, when we feel like we are sinking, faith offers us a path forward. Whether you see that path as supernatural, a rare natural phenomenon, or a metaphor, its power to inspire remains undiminished. Exploring these scientific possibilities doesn't force us to choose between faith and reason. It invites us to hold both, to remain curious, and to see the world as a place that is, and always will be, full of wonders, some we can explain, and some that continue to inspire our awe. Thank you for joining us on this exploration today at Studious Pug. If you enjoy looking at the world through a lens of curiosity, blending science, history, and faith, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.